Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. I'm Tim, and today we're going to start with a little seated meditation. So I have this sound bowl, and when we sit for the meditation, I want you to pay attention to the silence, and then where the sound comes through the silence, and then when it goes back into the silence. And also, the whole time, to also be paying attention to the field of silence that exists even when there's sound. Something to consider. Okay, so sit up straight and tall with your chest open and close your eyes. Relax your hips, relax your shoulders, and feel the spine start to become more buoyant. Then gently open your eyes and come into child's pose with the arms stretched back behind you. So in this variation of child's, the knees go close together, toes point back, and the arms stretch back. If you're kind of tight and your hips are in your shoulders and the head won't get all the way down, you can place a block underneath your forehead. So bring your breath into your back body. Let your back ribs start to open up. And let the shoulders melt towards the floor. Then come up onto your hands and your knees. Now, a common theme that I noticed in our 30-day challenge when people would post pictures is that many of the down dogs, because of back body tension and stiffness, the upper back kind of looked rounded in the down dog. Now, a great way to fix this is to do blocks underneath the hands. So we didn't show this in the 30-day challenge, but then after I started seeing all these pictures at the end, I was like, oh geez, this would help a ton if some people knew about this. So it would be better to work with your hands elevated and be able to get a long spine, even if you have to bend your knees, than it would to have the hands flat. And this might even look like using a chair, just having your hands on a chair like this and doing your down dog like that, walking forward, walking back with the hands onto the chair. Was that good miming skills or what? Okay, stretch back into down dog. Okay, so then inhale, glide forward into the plank. And as you exhale, stretch back into the dog. Inhale into the plank. Exhale into the dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale into dog. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. Put a little bend in your knees and let your head drop. Open the soles of the feet and the toes. Then roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Balance yourself over your ankles, shoulders, chest open. Raise your arms up. And fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Then plant your hands flat and step into a plank. Lower slowly all the way down onto your belly. Spine like you got to stick up your back. Then stretch your arms all the way forward. And then for this one, instead of coming up into a back bend, I want to see how long you could get. So reach forward through your crown. Move this block out of the way so you can see. And reach straight back through your tail. Press the tops of the feet down. Lift the inner thighs up so the legs are strong and your kneecaps up. Then turn your thumbs up towards the ceiling. Rotate the outer shoulders down. Broaden the base of the butt cheek. And then lift your right leg up just an inch without your hips twisting, navel up. Lift your left arm up 1 inch and get even longer through your tail and through your crown. Rotate the outer shoulder down. Change sides. Change sides. Change sides. Then both legs down. Bend your elbows out to the side. Open up your chest. Keep getting as long as you can instead of coming up high. Hi, Ollie. Stretch your arms back behind you. Open your heart, but keep reaching forward. Then place your hands next to your ribs. Press the knees down. Lift your belly. Now, again, like you have the danda spine, the stick up the back feeling, go straight up and then back into down dog. If you can do it with your knees up, go ahead and practice. Then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, make a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms up. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank pose. Hold in your plank with your chest open, legs firm, and lift your right leg up just 1 inch without your hips twisting. Change legs, left leg up 1 inch. Set that foot down, then pull your right knee up to your chest, round your back, and step your foot all the way up by your right thumb. Then turn your back heel down, put your right hand onto the inside of your right foot, block or floor. Hug your right hip in as you open up your chest and raise your arm. Then bring your hands back down, curl your back, lift your back heel up, find length through the midline. As you engage your right outer hip and reach your heart forward, float both arms back. Chest open. Then set your left hand down and twist. Take your right arm up. Bring your hands down. Step back into downward dog. Shift into plank pose. Raise your left leg up 1 inch without your hips twisting. Change legs, right leg up. Change legs and then pull the left knee up to the chest, round out, lift. Step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Turn your back heel down, come up into modified side angle, spin your navel up towards your shoulder, open up. Bring your hands down, lift your back knee up, then stretch your arms back behind you. Set your right hand down and twist. Bring your hands down and step back into downward dog. Look in between the hands, step walk or hop up to the top. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit your hips back, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank pose. Stretch back into dog. Then shift into plank. Bring your right knee to your right armpit. Change legs. Left knee to left armpit. Stretch that leg back. Right knee to left armpit. Stretch back, left knee to right armpit. Stretch that leg back, then lower slow with control onto your belly. Tricky with the blocks, go to the floor first. Good, then press the tops of the feet and then get as long as you can in your low cobra. So really important to be able to have the control of your back muscles to set your shoulder blades on your back like I'm doing. So feel the shoulder blades come onto the back as you reach your sternum forward. Then if you can maintain that and roll your chest up 2 more inches, go ahead. Don't lose the rotation of the shoulders. 2 more inches, shoulder still. Then maybe you can roll all the way up into an up dog position without the shoulders coming in front of the chest. And then stretch back into a down dog. Look in between your hands. Step or float to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, bend your knees, sit back, Utkatasana. Stand and release your arms at your side. Now let's flow through a B salutation. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into down dog or take a vinyasa. Step your right foot all the way up by your right thumb. Inhale into warrior one, turn your back heel down. Now lift straight up through the midline as you take your arms up. Bring your hands down, step back into down dog or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot up by your left thumb. Set up your back heel. Lift from your belly, come straight up through the midline. Bring your hands down, step back, vinyasa, or just right back into down dog. Bend your knees and look forward. Jump or step up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit back, Utkatasana. Stand and release your arms at your side. One more time, inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Step back to dog or take a vinyasa. Step your right foot up by your right thumb. Warrior one, inhale, come up. Bring your hands down. Step back, vinyasa, or straight back into dog. Step your left foot. Warrior one. Bring your hands down. Step back, vinyasa, or plank into down dog. And then step your right foot all the way up by your right thumb. Lower your back knee down. Bring your right hand to your knee. Lift from your navel and raise your left arm up. Spin your belly. Hook your left elbow to your knee. And join your palms. Hold here or lift your back knee up without your right hip crease jumping up. So imagine you had a sandbag right at your right hip crease. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back to dog or out of vinyasa. Step your left foot up. Lower your back knee. Left hand to your left knee, lift from your belly and raise your arm up. Then turn your rib cage, hook your elbow. Join palms. Hold there or curl the back toes and lift the back thigh up. Bring your hands back down, step back into dog, or take a vinyasa. Then step your right foot to the back of your right wrist, left foot to the back of your left wrist. Slowly start to lower your buttocks towards your heels, elbows come onto the insides of the knees, Malasana. Press down to the center of your heels. Draw your navel up as you let your chest start to open. Then check it out. From here, we're going to try the preparation for Buju Petersen. So lift your hips up, slide your hands back, and then start to walk the hands back. And with straight arms, let the hips start to release towards the arms. Then, bring your hands to the backs of your heels and wiggle your shoulders behind your legs. Soften the navel back. If that's going well, you can just hold here, practice the forward fold, or set the hands down and cross the ankles. Lower the feet back down and fold forward, Uttanasana. Then roll yourself up to stand. Mountain pose. Take your feet wide apart, and you might want to strap for this one if you have tight shoulders. Prasarita Padottanasana C. So I take the strap so my hands go shoulder distance apart, and this just gives me the ability to rotate my shoulders and open up the chest. You might be able to do it with your hands interlocked, I don't know. Open up the soles of your feet, and then start to tip from your pelvis as you let your spine elongate, forward and down. Then release that and hook your big toes, heart forward, and bend the elbows out to the side. Inhale to a flat back. Come up to stand. Turn your left leg out and step up to the top of your mat. Then step your left foot back about 3.5 feet. Bring your knuckles together behind your back and open up your chest and your shoulders. As you ground through your back heel, start to lengthen halfway out over your right leg. Pause there and work on your length, creating a flat back. Or if that's going really well, then start to lengthen all the way out over your leg. Then release your arms bring your left hand down onto the block or onto the floor, onto the outside of your foot. Reach your heart forward with your right hand on your hip. Draw your right outer hip up and back as you reach through your big toe mound and lengthen straight out through your big toe line. Spin your navel up towards your right shoulder and take your right arm up. Then bring your hands down, step your back leg forward, and let your head drop. Bend knees and roll yourself up to stand. Step your right foot back. Bring your hands behind your back and open your chest. And start to tip from your hips, elongate out over your leg. Then navel in as you lengthen all the way out over your leg. Inhale into the flat back, bring your hand to the outside of your foot, left hand onto your hip, and start to soften your belly as you turn. But then look down, make sure that the head aims through the midline, through the big toe. Then turn all the way and take your left arm up. Bring your hand down and step your back leg forward and let your head drop. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into down dog or take a vinyasa. Then look in between your hands and set your left knee down, left hand down underneath your shoulder, and open up into side plank. So stay here with the knee down, or you could try stretching your left leg out behind your right. Whichever one you do, keep your head back into the midline. Don't let your head come forward at all. And then we'll try this little balance challenge. See if you can lift your top leg up 1 inch without rounding over. And then slowly come back onto your hands and your knees and change sides. Right hand, right knee down, open up. Line everything up. Make sure that the head isn't sinking forward at all. Hold there, stretch the right leg out behind the left. And then whichever one you have, see if you can lift that top leg up just slightly without hunching over. So feel your core support you. And slowly come back down. Stretch back into dog. Then inhale into plank. Lower the left elbow down, right arm up. Change sides, right elbow down, left arm up. Both elbows down, lift the middle up. And then slowly with control, lower your hips down and start to roll your chest open. Okay, then we'll try this one. Start to slide the elbows forward a bit, bend your right knee, and if possible, reach back with your right hand to take your foot or your ankle. Release and change sides. Then release that. Press up onto your hands and your knees. Turn the fingers around for a little forearm wrist stretch. Thumbs out to the side, fingers pointing back, hands right underneath your shoulders. And then come into a Virasana position. So knees close together, feet wide enough for the buttocks to fit in between. You can sit on a block if it bothers your knees at all. Then from here, let's work on a Purvattanasana action. So take the hands a foot behind you and roll the shoulders open as you start to open up your chest. Stretch down through your middle three knuckles, lift from the inner arms up into the shoulders. And then come back up. Good, and then lie onto your belly. Take the strap behind your back, hands shoulder distance apart. Pull the strap in opposite directions. Feel the shoulders cinch open, the triceps turn towards each other. And then as you press the tops of the feet, lift the inner kneecaps up. Now lift both legs up just an inch as you stretch the hips out of the lower back. Lower yourself down and rest one cheek on the mat, little neck stretch. Then bend your knees and see if you can reach back with your hands to grab a hold of your feet. And then as the navel opens and draws up, the back of the navel opens and draws up towards your heart, start to stretch the legs. Don't force in this pose. Start to draw the shins back, like this is called Dhanurasana, bow pose, like an archer drawing a bow back. Start to draw the shins back, and then the arrow of the chest reaches straight forward, shoots forward. Good. Bring your hands next, lower yourself back down, rest the other cheek on the mat. Little neck stretch. And then let's try this. Find the Danda spine, lift the inner knees, suck your belly up, shoulder blades on your back. Now can you lift straight up into plank from here? I hope so. Come on. Oh, still got it. All right, stretch back into downward dog. I love when the ego gets expressed through the yoga practice. That's really good. Okay, cool. Then come into a seated position for a little bit of Ardha Matsyendrasana, the most confusing pose I've found to explain. So the left heel goes to the outside of the right hip, right ankle goes onto the outside of the left knee. Got it. Now hold your knee in and just sit tall. Let the sit bones settle towards the floor, and then let the whole spine start to become buoyant, and then that's a good spine to start to twist on. Wrap your arm around. Release that one. This can be a really good one. If you have tight hips, they can pull on your lower back sometime. So this is a good one to get into the hips to help to release the tension in the back. But I want you to be sitting upright, even if you have to sit on more junk. So find the buoyant spine and then start to twist around your tall spine. Find the midline, grow tall through the midline. Sometimes I'll look forward to find the midline to make sure that I'm not like lean one way or the other, and then turn the head last. The eyes can be really tricky. The pull of your eyes will convince you of different things. So if you take the eyes out of the equation by looking forward for a moment, you could feel the spine tall through the midline. And then you can even close the eyes as you twist to stay connected in the spine and the sit bones. Then come back to center. We use so many props today. Cross the legs at the middle of the shins and fold forward. Or you can take double pigeon if your hips are more open. That's where you stack the shins. Just kidding. Good. Come back up and change the cross of your legs. So as we start to cool down here, these finishing poses should start to draw you inward and should start to calm the nerves and cool. So don't be working too hard. Often you hear me say at the end that you should just be at like a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10 when you go into the pose. And then breathe into where you're feeling the barrier. Keep going inward. And then stretch both legs out in front of you. Now, a really important aspect of all of our seated forward folds is that we can first just find the Danda spine. We could sit in Dandasana. So it should be like you can sit with the stick up your back, you're upright on your sit bones, and the legs are straight. See if you can find that first. If you can't, you might have to bend the knees a little to find the Danda spine. Then you just work on the Danda spine for 30 seconds. If the legs are straight, you have the Danda, that just means a stick spine. And you can start to tip from your pelvis and maybe grab a hold of your feet and then recreate the Danda spine. That's step 2. If all that's going really well, you have the Danda spine here, legs straight, then you can go towards the third stage of the pose, where you start to go into forward flexion. But you don't want to be loading up discs that aren't able to get space in the preliminary positions, because then that's bad for them. Okay, lie down onto your back. Shavasana, corpse pose. Let everything start to relax, completely empty. Empty the jaw, empty the tongue. Let all the muscles in your body melt towards the floor. Just let gravity win now. Give up completely. Then gently bend your knees and roll over to your side. Press up to seated. Bring your palms together. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future, any questions about any of the stuff that we did today. Also, if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. This is important because this will make sure that you get all the updates and that you don't miss any videos in the future. All right, I'll see you next time. Have a great day.